Get ready to recap all the latest breaking news of February 2023. In this compilation video, we'll go through the most talked about events happening around the world in the last month. This is Facts Studio News Block. Let's begin. Chinese surveillance balloon flying over U.S. territory. U.S. officials disputed claims from China that a surveillance balloon detected over the northern United States was a civilian airship that had blown off course. There were no weather conditions that caused the Chinese surveillance balloon to enter U.S. airspace, as China's foreign ministry spokesperson claimed. The balloon is flying at 60,000 feet, which is higher than most U.S. warplanes or aircraft can fly. Republican lawmakers have called on President Biden to shoot it down. Biden slaps 20-year mining ban on more than 225,000 acres of Minnesota land. This ban includes the Twin Metals mine, which taps into vast domestic supplies of minerals like copper and nickel that are necessary for renewable energy, computer systems, defense applications and essential household products. Representative Pete Stauber, Republican Minnesota, called the legislation an attack on our way of life. Policy expert Bedford agreed with the Republican lawmakers, claiming this move gives more power to China and other adversaries. Chinese spy balloon was taken down, Pentagon said Saturday. A senior military official said that the Chinese spy balloon was shot down on Saturday by one air-to-air A-9X Sidewinder missile fired by an F-22 Raptor. The aircraft fired the missile at an altitude of 58,000 feet while the balloon was hovering at an altitude of between 60,000 and 65,000 feet. The U.S. military was able to gather intelligence information on the balloon as it flew across the country. China fumes after U.S. shoots down its balloon. China's foreign ministry said it strongly disapproves of the U.S. decision to shoot down a spy balloon. The U.S. use of force is a clear overreaction and a serious violation of international practice, the China's foreign ministry added. Shark kills a teenage girl who went for swim in Australian river. A 16-year-old girl was attacked and killed by a shark while swimming in a river in Perth, Western Australia, local authorities said. Police said the girl had jumped into the water to swim with a pod of dolphins that had been spotted nearby. Iran still supports terrorist organizations in Yemen. The U.S. Navy assisted the French military in seizing thousands of assault rifles and 500,000 rounds of ammunition that were heading to Yemen from Iran in January, the U.S. military confirmed Wednesday. U.S. Central Command confirmed that more than 3,000 assault rifles, 578,000 rounds of ammunition, and 23 anti-tank guided missiles were seized last month. According to the UN, over 150,000 people have been killed in Yemen. Disney slammed for anti-white propaganda in new The Proud Family reboot. Disney show argues that America owes Black Americans because the country still has not atoned for its racism and white supremacy. This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country, the song repeatedly stated in the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder episode. The song also promoted the idea that President Abraham Lincoln did not actually free the slaves. Over 7,000 people died in Turkey and Syria after Monday's magnitude 7.8 earthquake. At least 35,626 people have been injured across both countries. More than 5,000 buildings collapsed in Turkey after deadly earthquake. All world send help to Turkey. The picture shows medical crew from Poland in action. Turkey earthquake. Mexico sends its famed search and rescue dogs. Dogs are trained to sniff out humans and alert their handlers by barking and scratching the ground where the smell is strongest. Echo, a Belgian Malinois, was seen at the airport in Mexico City with his Navy handler. He is one of dogs deployed to Turkey. Frida is Mexico's most famous rescue dog after rescuing 12 people and locating 40 bodies. Frida died of old age last year. U.S. releases first images of China's spy balloon recovery efforts. U.S. Navy and Coast Guard vessels deployed off the coast of South Carolina on Saturday after the U.S. shot down China's surveillance balloon. Divers are working to recover debris and deliver it to the FBI facility in Quantico for analysis. President Biden's administration hopes to gain intelligence from the balloon, which was allowed to cross the entire continental United States last week. Spy balloon likely sent extensive intelligence to China. The Pentagon said it acted immediately to counter a collection of sensitive information. The balloon that traveled across the U.S. was able to send sensitive data to the Chinese Communist Party. The DoD waited to destroy the Chinese balloon over concerns the debris could harm civilians. Biden administration, war on energy use, continues. New rules are supposed to boost energy efficiency for washers and refrigerators. The Department of Energy claimed new standards would, in a long run, save consumers money and reduce pollution. However, those regulations are expected to cause price increase of the new appliances. Experts argued the appliance regulations are unnecessary and that consumers can freely purchase more efficient appliances. Some even call them overregulation on steroids. Pentagon shoots down object flying over Alaska.
At the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, within U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial water. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. U.S. Northern Command is beginning recovery operations now. We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4.
China's spy balloon followed a specific path. The Pentagon flew high-altitude U-2 spy planes to examine the gear dangling from the 200-foot balloon. Discovering the balloon had carried devices to intercept sensitive communications. Before the military shot it down, the balloon passed over the most sensitive strategic sites in the United States, nuclear missile silos and military bases. Chinese satellite fires green laser beams over Hawaii as tensions escalate over spy balloon.
Chinese satellite that is measuring pollutants, among other things. It has many different instruments on it, some kind of topographical mapping, or they're also used for measuring stuff in the Earth's atmosphere, and I think that's what it is. It's an environmental measurement satellite.
Incident comes amid an escalation of tensions between China and the U.S., after a Chinese spy balloon was spotted over Montana earlier this month and 3 other flying objects were shot down this weekend. Before we'll move to the second part of this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. It helps us grow the channel and create better content. Thanks for all of your support. BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, comes up with an idea to challenge the dollar's hegemony. Russian leader Vladimir Putin said the BRICS were working on developing a new reserve currency based on a basket of currencies for its member countries. This decision could be the next step in a hybrid war between the free and totalitarian world. Donald Trump slams Rihanna's Super Bowl show. President Trump criticized Rihanna for her insulting language and choreography. Epic fail. Rihanna gave, without question, the single worst halftime show in Super Bowl history, Trump wrote on Truth Social. The singer took the stage at State Farm Arena, Arizona on Sunday, appearing in Apple Music's first halftime show. Armed Russian jet comes within 5 feet of U.S. recon jet. An armed Russian fighter jet buzzed a U.S. Air Force reconnaissance aircraft in the Baltic Sea on Monday, 2 U.S. officials told Fox News. The Russian Su-27 jet with air-to-air missiles approached the U.S. Air Force recon jet rapidly, coming within 5 feet of the American aircraft, the officials said. Since June 2, there were more than 35 interactions in the Baltic Sea region between U.S. and Russian jets and warships. U.S. wants to send Iranian weapons to Ukraine. The U.S. government is trying to find a legal way to send Ukraine the weapons sent to the Houthis by Iran and confiscated off the coast of Yemen. Ukraine could get 5,000 rifles, 1.6 million rounds of ammunition, anti-tank rockets, and 7,000 proximity fuses. Russia warned the U.S. that continuing to send weapons to Ukraine risks involving them in the conflict directly and only delays the inevitable. Dutch fighter jets intercept 3 Russian aircrafts near Poland. Dutch F-35 fighter jets have intercepted a formation of Russian military planes that were flying near Polish airspace. The F-35s escorted the Russian formation from a distance and handed over the escort to NATO partner. The Polish Defense Ministry told Politico that the planes were traveling over international waters and none of its airspace has been interrupted. Tensions between NATO and Russia remain high. Police searching for missing UK mom Nicola Bulley find a body. The body has yet to be formally identified, but Bulley's family has been informed of the discovery. A body was recovered from a river near where Bulley went missing in the northern English village of St. Michael's-on-Wyre, Lancashire police said. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter will end medical treatment and enter hospice care at his Georgia home, his foundation announced on Saturday. The Carter Center said Mr. Carter had decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family, but did not say what had prompted the decision. Mr. Carter, 98, has suffered from recent health issues, including a melanoma that spread to his liver and brain. The country's oldest living leader served one term in office from 1977 to 81. 4 Russian military aircraft intercepted over Alaska. 2 F-16 fighter jets were dispatched by NORAD to intercept the Russian aircraft. Russian aircraft remained in international airspace and did not enter American or Canadian sovereign airspace, NORAD said on Tuesday. Russian activity in the North American Adiz occurs regularly. Since 2007, Russian aircraft have been intercepted 6 to 7 times a year. U.S. leads the rest of the world with $196 billion given to Ukraine. The rest of the world has contributed less than $75 billion of total aid. Congress is looking to put a stop to the superabundant spending by the U.S. government. New resolution would end military and financial aid to Ukraine. The proposal also urges Ukraine and Russia to seek a peace deal, requiring them to renew their negotiations. Donald Trump tops DeSantis in 2024 GOP presidential poll. New 2024 poll was conducted ahead of Nikki Haley's entry into the race. Trump stands at 43% among registered Republicans, with Florida Governor DeSantis in second place with 31% support. Former Vice President Mike Pence stands at 7% support, and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley was in fourth place in the survey, with 4% support. Turkey has ended rescue efforts in all but 2 provinces, almost 2 weeks after a massive earthquake killed tens of thousands of people. Searches will continue in Kahramanmaraş and Hatay. However, hopes of finding anyone else alive in the rubble are fading fast. The epicenter of the 7.8 magnitude earthquake on February 6 was in Kahramanmaraş. More than 44,000 people are confirmed to have lost their lives in southeastern Turkey and northern Syria. Donald Trump blasts Biden administration for handling of the train derailment disaster in East Palestine, Ohio.
And even now you have a president going to Ukraine, and you have people in Ohio that are in desperate need of help. And I was very proud to say that I announced I was going to Ohio. You know, FEMA said we're not going to give them anything. The Biden administration said we're not going to give them anything. And then I announced I'm going. But they weren't going to get anything from FEMA. They weren't going to get anything from anybody. And then I announced I'm going. And FEMA said, oh, we'll give you whatever you want. Everybody's throwing it at them now. And you know what? I'm happy about that. That's good. We're going to go on Wednesday. But as soon as we announced we were going, the money started rolling in. But it's not supposed to be that way, is it?
President Biden makes surprise visit to Ukraine on President's Day. This was the first time in modern history that the leader of the free world visited a war zone without the U.S. military protection. Biden said he visited Ukraine to meet with Zelensky and reaffirm our unwavering and unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Sirens could be heard in war-torn Ukraine as Biden arrived in the country. The U.S. has already supported Ukraine with tens of billions of dollars in financial aid and military equipment. At least 59 migrants, including 12 children, have died and dozens more are feared missing after their boat sank in rough seas off southern Italy. The overloaded vessel broke apart while trying to land with at least 150 people aboard near the coastal town of Crotone in the Calabria region. Large numbers of people fleeing conflict and poverty to seek easier life make the crossing from Africa to Italy each year. Biden speaks in Poland after surprise trip to Ukraine. President Joe Biden addressed the world from Warsaw, Poland, just days ahead of the one-year mark of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Biden closed his speech by saying the world was at an inflection point, and that the decisions we make over the next 5 years or so will determine and shape our lives for decades to come. Autocrats only understand one word, no, Biden said. You will not take my country, you will not take my freedom, you will not take my future. Biden receives backlash over Ukraine. A number of U.S. lawmakers have criticized decisions to continue giving financial aid without proper oversight. But the Biden administration has vowed to support Zelensky's regime for as long as it takes. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said Ukraine should not receive a blank check. Trump criticized Biden for going to Ukraine, instead of Ohio. I'll be spending some time in Ohio, where he should be. During any time of crisis, go to your people immediately, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said, pointing that the president didn't go to Ohio.